today's episode, we are going to be fetching all the users that belong to a specific channel inside of our chat room screen. If you guys remember from a couple of episodes ago, while we were constructing this channel tab screen that has this list of our channels, we are actually not fetching all the members that belong to each of this individual channel here. We are only fetching 2 members because, as we discussed in those previous episodes, we only need 2 members to actually construct all of the metadata information that we need to display in this screen right here. And I can show that to you real quickly. So if we jump into Xcode and we go into our channel tab view model, so if we go into our channel model, a channel folder underneath the view model, we have a channel tab view model. We have this method called get channel members. This get channel members method is using the user service static method called get users. And as you can see, we have a prefix here, which means we are only fetching 2 members for each of this individual channel rows right here. Well, when you navigate to that chat room screen, right, it makes sense for us to fetch all of the members that actually belong to that channel. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And before we do that, I would like for us to actually quickly fix or add the currently logged in user to a newly created channel. And so what I mean by that is when we go into our chat partner picker screen, right, let's say we clicked on this QA user 11, right, we actually know QA user 11, but we actually don't have the currently logged in user inside of this chat room screen when it is newly created. And the reason for that is because when we create a new channel, if we go into so let's go into our chat partner picker view model now. Upon creation of a new channel, what's actually happening is we are returning a channel, right? When we return that channel, we are appending members to that new channel, right? And the members are basically the selected chat partner, meaning each of the selected partners here. So let's say we do a new group, each of the selected partners, right? We add that to the newly created channel and we pass that to our channel tab screen before we navigate to the chat room screen. I know that's a handful, that sounds confusing, but really what I'm trying to describe is when we bring up this picker and we select the chat partner that we want to chat with, we are actually not when we create that new channel, we're actually not adding the current user to it. And you can validate that by looking at this selected chat partner. I don't believe it has the currently logged in user. So we're going to fix that really quickly. And there's multiple ways for us to add the currently logged in user info to this channel, to this chat partner picker view model. We could use dependency injection, or we could just straight up listen to the current authentication user information using our auth manager publisher. And I think I'm just going to go for that because it's the easier of both choices. And I'm going to go right ahead and create a method that allows us to be able to listen to the currently logged in user. So I'm going to first and foremost declare up here a private property. I'm going to call it current user. And it's going to be an optional user item. I'm making it optional just to make our lives a little easier. The next thing I would like for us to do is to create a private method called listen for auth state. And this listen for auth state is pretty simple. All that we really want to do is just listen for the currently logged in user information using our, what is it called again? Our authentication manager to access the currently logged in user. And we're going to do that by saying auth manager shared. And we have an auth state. If you guys remember, we're going to receive that. Let's receive it on the main thread on dispatch queue.main. And of course, we're going to sync into it. We're going to, we're going to capture weak self. And now we're going to say if the authentication state is logged in, so we're going to switch auth state. Actually, we need an auth state here because this returns us an authenticated state that's going to have the currently logged in user information. Auth state, we're going to switch that. We're going to say if it's logged in, that logged in gives us a current user. Then we're going to say self.current user is equals to this current user, or we could call this logged in user, just for better readability. I'm going to say logged in user. So now that we have that, we're going to have the defaults. We're just going to break because we don't really want to do anything here. And so now we have the currently logged in user information using this method, although we do need to handle our cancelable. So I'm going to create a combined subscription using, so we need to create a private property called subscriptions, or it could just be a single subscription because, yeah, in this case, it's just going to be a single subscription of type any cancelable. We need to import combine because this is a combined framework. Import combine, and we're going to say any cancelable. It's going to be optional, and then we're going to say this is equals to the subscription. We can call it auth state subscription. That would probably be a better name, to be honest with you, but let's make sure. Oh, that's a let. That should be a var. I'm sorry, guys. So subscription is equals to that. And now I'm going to create a deinit block right below our initializer block. And I'm just going to say subscription.cancel, and subscription is equals to nil, right? We're just cleaning up after ourselves. And then right here in the initialized block, I'm going to say listen for authenticated state. However, I'm actually going to take this fetch current user or fetch users method. I'm going to migrate it into our authenticated state. So this is only going to fire if we are in the logged in state. But of course, we're always going to be in the logged in state if a user is actually accessing the specific view model. So it's sort of redundant, but let's just leave it. Let's just leave it that way. So now we have the currently logged in user information. Now we can append the currently logged in user to our, our channels. So again, when we're checking if a direct channel already exists before we create a new one, we want to append the currently logged in user. So I'm going to say direct channel dot members, and I'm just going to append current user. Okay, so current user, and let's see, it's going to say current user is optional. So I'm just going to do this really quickly. I'm going to use optional binding. Okay, and I'm going to copy that. I don't just want to do that in the direct channel creation. I also want to do it in, well, this is not direct channel creation. Right here, we're returning an existing direct channel. I'm sorry, guys, there's a distinction. And right here in the channel creation, if we scroll down, we have a method called create channel. So right here, I would actually like to do the same thing here as well. So in the new channel, I'm going to say new channel dot members dot append currently logged in user. So now we're making sure that the currently created channel actually has the current user information. And you're going to see what I'm trying to do here by the end of this episode. Let us run a project, make sure everything is working as expected, and let us get right into the main focus of today's video. That felt like a little bit of a long detour, but I felt like it was something that was necessary, because now when we create a new channel, we know for sure the currently logged in user is going to be inside of this chat room screen as well. And so let us go back to our channel tab view model. Like I said, inside of our channel tab view model, we're only fetching 2 members for a specific channel. So we need to fetch all the members that belong to a specific channel by the time we get in here. So for example, for new channels, that doesn't matter, because when you create a new channel, we're going to pass in all the members that belongs to that channel by the time you get into the chat room screen. And the reason we're doing that is because, as you guys remember, inside of our chat partner picker view model, so if we go into our chat partner, where is it? Chat partner picker screen inside of our channels. Look at this. When a channel is created on create, we fire this new channel, we return this. So this new channel item will already have all of the selected members, because again, if I go up here, if I go into our chat partner picker view model and I scroll down, as you guys can see, members is equals to selected chat partners. So by the time we're in this chat room screen for a new channel, we already know the members. However, whenever it's not a new channel, so let's say in the case of, let's exit out of this, let's kill the app, let's reopen the app, right? We're getting in the app. This is not a new channel, essentially. This is a channel we're fetching, right? When we go in here, when we navigate here, we actually only have 2 members. So that's what we want to fix really quickly. And the way to do that is to go into our chat room view model. So I'm going to close the channel folder. I'm going to open the chat folder, and I'm going to go into our chat room view model. And right here, right now, we are not really fetching anything. So I'm going to create a new method called fetch all channel members. I think that sounds like a pretty good name. Okay, so I would like for us to actually, remember we're fetching 2 users for each specific channel. I would like for us to filter out the 2 users we already fetched. That makes sense, right? It's kind of redundant for us to fetch the same data over and over again. So I'm going to say, we already have the current user and potentially 2 other members. So no need to refetch those. Okay, so let's go right ahead and do a little bit of filtering. The first thing I would like for us to do is, of course, have our current user. So I'm actually going to unwrap this. I'm going to say get like current user is equals to current user, else just return out of this context. The next thing I'd like for us to do is to get the members that we've already fetched. So I'm going to say members already fetched is equals to channel dot members, right, dot compact map, and give me their UIDs. So create an array of UID of the members that we already fetched for that specific channel when we're in the chat room screen. The next thing I'd like for us to do is to filter out the members, right? So I'm going to say, let's see, what's a good name? I'm going to say member UIDs to fetch. I think that sounds pretty descriptive enough. Then I'm going to say members to fetch, let's see. Well, I'm going to say channel.members. And all I want to do is I want to filter out all the members that we already fetched. So that should be pretty simple. All we have to do is make sure that members already fetched, right? We want to filter those out. We're going to make sure it does not contain members already fetched. So filter is going to create a new array for us that does not contain any of these UIDs right here of the members we already fetched. So let's see, this is yelling at us. I'm not really sure why. Let me make sure my syntax is correct. So I'm saying channel members fetch filter. I mean, members already fetched, does not contain any of the members that has already been fetched. Yeah. And it's saying user item does not conform to, interesting. Actually, let's use member UIDs. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, let's use member UIDs here. Yeah, member UIDs to fetch, right? I think that looks pretty good. The next thing is, let's make sure that this is not empty, of course. Well, actually, yeah. You know what? Nope. Let's just go right ahead now and get this members. So I'm going to say user service get users. We created a get users method earlier on, and then I'm going to say member UIDs to fetch, right? Fetch only those members. We're going to create a weak self here, and this is going to return us, I believe, a user node. Was that what we did the last time? I'm gonna command and right click into. I'm gonna left click into user node. Yep, it returns us a user node. So I'm gonna go back. Okay, so users, get us those users. Now, what are we gonna do with those users, guys? Well, pretty simple. First off, let's unwrap the optional self because we're creating a weak reference here. So if for any reason this context doesn't exist, of course, just ignore or exit out of the scope. So the first thing that we want to do is we're gonna say, let's see, self.channel.members, right? We want to append contents of user node dot users. Okay, and I'll explain what we're doing really quickly in a second here. And so now we are getting all the members that belong to a specific channel, and that feels right. What am I missing? I think that's pretty much it. So now what we're really doing is we're saying, A, we know we're already fetching 2 members by the time we're inside of this channel tab screen here, right? We know we're already fetching 2 members for each of this individual channel. We don't want to refetch those users. We also know we already have the currently logged in user. We don't want to refetch that information as well. So that saves us a bunch of database operation, and I think it's a pretty smart strategy to do. So now that we've appended the users that belong to a specific channel, I'm trying to think. I think the only other thing that I would like for us to do now is to, so instead of getting this get messages, we're going to only fire get messages when we're done with this. So now we're going to come down here. We're going to say self.get messages. Right, so I'm gonna go remove get messages from here. So we're finding to get messages inside of our listen to authentication states. I'm gonna replace that with get all, or what did we call it? Fetch channel members. Fetch all channel members. And maybe we should just change the name for consistency. Let's call it get all channel members. Get all channel members, and I'm gonna scroll up here and rename that. And that should give us all of the members for a specific channel. And we can validate that really quickly. Let's do a print statement in this bad boy. Get all channel members. And all I really want for us to do now is I'm just going to say channel.members.map. Give me an array of their username. Okay, so this is going to create an array of string for us. And let us filter for this. And let us run our projects now and make sure everything is working as expected. Okay, so if we go here, everything is good. Let's say we go into the Fantastic Four. Look at that. We have all the users that belong to the Fantastic Four. QA user 11, QA user 18, QA user 50. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And the currently logged in user is what? So I'm going to validate. The currently logged in user is QA user 50. And as you can see, we also have QA user 50 right here. And that feels pretty good. Honestly, I forgot to do something. I forgot to remove the currently logged in user. So inside of the member UIDs to fetch, I'm just going to remove the currently logged in user from here as well. I'm going to filter it out to exclude the currently logged in user. And I'm going to do that by saying $0. Well, $0 is not equals to current user.uid. So I want us to filter out the currently logged in user here because there's no reason for us to fetch that here, honestly. Gee, I am tripping right now. So I'm going to assign that. I'm going to assign that to be equals to this now. I don't know if that makes sense. Essentially, we're filtering out all the members we already fetched in this line. And then we're filtering out the UID of the currently logged in user. Because again, we already have QA user 50 by the time we get to this get channel members. Because we're getting QA user 50 from this listen to auth state. So it doesn't make sense for us to refetch it. So now I'm going to validate that by running this pretty quickly. And let us see what the simulator prints for us. So it shouldn't have QA user 50 in the next run. So if we go here, and then let's say we go to Fantastic Four again. If we go back to our Xcode, as you can see, there's no more QA user 50, which is good. But now we should actually append the currently logged in user because as you can imagine, we still want to know the currently logged in user is a member of this channel. So right here, I'm going to say self.channel.members.append, not content.append current user. And I think it's going to yell at us because I'm pretty sure current user is optional, isn't it? Well, actually, we're already unwrapping it up here. So now let us run our project one final time. And I believe everything is good to go. So if we jump to the simulator, let's go to Fantastic Four again. And I'm going to bring back Xcode side by side with our simulator so we can see what we're doing. As you can see, we are appending the currently logged in user as the last item, which is what we're doing right here. And therefore, if you think about it, when we get to the chat room screen, we are only fetching what we actually need. We're not refetching unnecessary user data. Because right here, let's say the first 2 items, this is the first 2 items that we are actually fetching inside of this channel tab screen. By the time we get inside of this chat room screen, we're only going to fetch 2 more users because we know we already have those 3 other users. So just little efficient things like that just makes, makes things pretty much cleaner. And it makes it so you don't have to make calls to your backend over and over again. So that's the main bulk of today's episode. One last thing that I would like for us to honestly do pretty quickly is to add a couple of information to our, let's see. So the first thing I want to do is inside of our channel item, I'm going to go into our channel item, and where is our channel item? So this is out of our channel folder. We have our models and our channel item. Inside of our channel item, I would like for us to add a couple of things. I would like for us to actually add some sort of a property that lets us know if we've actually already fetched all the members that belongs to a specific channel. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say var all members fetched, and I'll explain why I'm doing this pretty quickly. It's going to be of type Boolean, and all members have been fetched if the members count is equals to the member UID's counts. Because remember, the members is something we have to fetch on the client side. The member UID counts already like comes. Actually, we don't even need to do member UID's count. We can just do members counts. Right, exactly. So that means all the members have been fetched for a specific channel. And the reason we're going to do that is if we jump into our chat room view model, there is a world where we have a one-on-one channel, right? Because if we have a one-on-one channel, a direct channel, for example, QA user 18, we really don't have anything to fetch here because we actually already have all the information. Right here, we're already fetching the QA user 18. And as I said, we already know the currently logged in user. So we're actually not even fetching any chat room, any channel members when we're in the chat room screen because we already have all that information. So now we're going to use that logic to validate if we even need to call this get our channel members method. And here's what we're going to do. So right up here, we're going to say if self.channel inside of our listen to auth states that all members have been fetched. If that is true, right, then we're just going to get messages. So I'm going to move this self.get messages here. If not, if all members have not been fetched, then get our channel members. I don't know if that explanation makes sense. Please let me know if that is confusing. I'm happy to explain more of it in the comments. And honestly, I think I'm going to like unwrap this optional self pretty quickly here. And above the authentication state, I'm just going to say God let self is equals to self, else we're going to return out of this scope. So I'm going to remove all these optional question marks here just to make our life a little bit easier. Okay. And that seemed pretty good to me. So now, again, you can notice that bug in QA user 18 right here. If we go into QA user 18, we're actually not fetching we're not fetching the messages because, you know, this method really has nothing to fetch. So that fixes that bug for us. So now I'm going to run it, and QA user 18 should actually get messages because we're only firing this get our channel members if we actually need to get channel members. So I'm going to run the function. I'm going to run our Xcode projects, and let's go to like QA user 18. And as you can see, that is still not showing. That is hard. What about QA user 11? Why is that? Let's say QA user 10. So as you can see, the direct messages are not working. The group channels are working though, because they're actually fetching these messages. Interesting. What could be causing this? Let us think pretty quickly, guys. What bug did we just introduce? Okay, guys, so this is definitely a me. The reason this is not firing the get messages for direct messages is because we're actually not having the current user inside of the chat room screen right now. And we can validate this pretty quickly by having a print statement here. Let's just say already fetched messages, and let's copy this. Let's put it down here, and let's say it is not true. And let's put this print statement down here. Let's run our project, and let's make sure everything is the print statement is working as expected. So right now, in the current state of the application, we should expect this to fire for direct messages because, again, direct messages, we already have the current user, we already have their chat partner. But look at that. It's still saying it's not true. Could you guess why? Well, the reason is actually because in the channel tab view model, we are not having the current user. So let's go into our channel tab view model. Inside of our channel tab view model right here, where we are getting channel and where we are getting the channel members. So we have this function called get channel members. And right here, we're setting the members of a channel right here. We're actually not setting the currently logged in user. So that means inside of this channel item computer property, this is always going to be false because the numbers are actually not equal. We actually only have one channel member right here in this chat room screen at the moment when it should be two, which is like meaning it should be QA user 10 and the currently logged in users. And we can validate that pretty quickly. Let's just say we say channel.members. Let's append one of the placeholders that we created a while ago. And you would see that this should work as expected. But of course, we need to replace the placeholder with the actual currently logged in user information. So let's say we go to QA user 10. Look at that. That is working as expected. And the print statement is printing what we're actually expecting. So now let's replace this placeholder with the actual current user because that's really what we want. Because even in this screen right here, we already know who the currently logged in user is. Thank you to the authentication state. So because I'm lazy, honestly, I'm just going to go into our chat room view model and copy this authentication state, function. We could either do that or we could use dependency injection to just directly pass in the currently logged in user to this channel view model. So I think we should use DI in this situation. So I'm just going to go right up here. Actually, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say private let current user is going to be of type user item. And I'm going to take this current user, I'm going to inject it into our initializer, current user item. Then I'm going to say self.currentUser is equals to the injected current user. So now our channel tab screen should actually yell at us because that's where we're initializing this view model. So now I'm initializing current user and it should work as expected. I'm going to say self, the current user here. And I'm also going to optionally unwrap. I'm going to unwrap this, guys. I'm going to say let self is equals to self. Else return out of the scope. So that way I don't have to use this optional unwrapping. So I'm going to have to remove this from this, remove this from this, remove that optional from that. Okay. I'm going to expand Xcode all the way. Sorry about that. I just realized that. The next thing I want us to do now is if we run our project, again, Xcode should yell at us and actually show us where we have an error in our channel tab screen. So channel tab screen, we're initializing our view model. Obviously, we can no longer initialize it directly like that. So now we're going to do this other approach, which is we're going to say channel tab view model is of type channel tab view model. We're going to create an initializer now. But this time around, we're going to ask for the current user. And I'm going to say is of type user item. And then I'm going to say, I want this view model, self.view model is equals to state object. We're going to create a new state object with a wrap value. And the state object we know is of channel tab view model. We know the channel tab view model asks for the current user. So we're going to pass in the current user that we're injecting into this view. So now we're asking this channel tab screen, this view right here. We want this view to be aware of the currently logged in user. And we already know the main tab view is aware of the currently logged in user. So we're just propagating that information downwards. And so now everything would work as expected, but we're going to get an error, which is the final fix. Well, final couple of fix. Right here, we can put a placeholder here in the preview. Let's run the project. Let Xcode do the work for us. This is the last bit. And again, remember the main tab view, this view right here, knows the current user because we have it right here. So now all we got to do is take this current user, pass it in here, run our project, and everything should be smooth as butter. So let's wait for Xcode to do its thing. Come on. Sometimes the simulator takes forever. Even when you have like an M2 computer. I don't know why, man. All right, let's go to chat. And if we go to QA user 10, look at that. We're fetching our current user. QA user 4, look at that. We're fetching that as well. And again, we can validate the members of a specific channel by letting the print statement do its thing. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to go into our channel chat room view model. And I'm going to remove this print statements. And all I just want to do now is print. Oh, actually, I'm already doing that here. So anyways, guys, let's just get the print statement. Let's put it right here inside of the get messages statement. And I'm going to say channel members. So we can see the members of a specific channel when it's a specific direct channel, when it's of type direct channel or a DM. So let's run the project one last time. If we go right into our channel tab view, channel tab screen, and we go right in here, look at that. We have all the members that belong to a specific channel. But now look at this, guys. We're having duplicates. We have QA user 50 twice, and we really shouldn't have that. If we go into our QA user 4, we only have QA user 4 and QA user 50. So that means we're getting the right amount of information. However, okay, so the reason we're actually having duplicates is because we are appending a current user inside of our channel tab view model. If you guys remember, we did that just a couple of minutes ago, and we should only be doing that for direct channels, not for group channels. So if we jump into our channel tab view model, and if we go right up here where we're appending inside of this get channel method, right, inside of the get channel members completion block, we are appending the current user right here. And we want to put some sort of a condition here. We only want to append the current user to a channel if it's a direct channel. So we're going to say if channel dot is group chat, right, is equals to false, let's just say. Only if only that condition is correct, that's when we're going to append a current user. Because think about it, we don't get duplicates for QA user 18, right? It's just QA user 18 and QA user 50. But all of a sudden, when we do something like Fantastic 4, look at that, we get duplicates. And it's because we don't need to append the currently logged in user here, right? We can append the currently logged in user in the other spot. So we're going to run the project really quickly. And by the other spot, I mean like inside of the chat room view model, we're going to be appending the currently logged in users for group chats. So if we go right here, and let us remove this. Let's say we do QA user 10, right? Look at that. We only have 2 channel members, QA user 10 and QA user 50. And if we do Fantastic 4 now, we no longer have duplicates. So this is basically a situation of where you're both the criminal and the detective. So we introduced the bug into our code base and we just fixed it ourselves. So that's it for this episode, guys. In the next episode, we are going to handle a couple of more cleanups with our UI. And then I want us to get started with handling our image picking functionality and audio recording functionality. Thank you guys for hanging around as always. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.